Right, update up to now is I've made milliputty, a strip of milliputty all the way around the chimney and just smoothed it till it looked like a thin row of flashing. When that dried, I painted it in a metallic black, but you can actually use Payne's grey, and then when that dried I just put a thin coat of silver on, so it gives the effect that it's got flashing.
Right, what we're going to do now is just make a simple set of steps going up to this cabin, because we made it a little bit higher. So what I've done is I've marked out some pieces, drawn the shape out what I need. Obviously I'll draw this bit on as well, so you can see how to cut these out. They'll go in there like that. I've cut the noggins, normally I wouldn't while I got it made. Cut them like that, glue these inside, and then we can put the steps together. So what I'll do is I'll show you how these go. We're just literally gluing these onto here like that. Now you've got to take a little bit of a taper off them, so I've allowed them a little bit bigger. So now what I'm going to do is just cut that back like so, just with a little bit of an angle on, like that. Just pare it back. So what I've done is I've cut that to that shape. Now when you glue that on, get it the right way around, obviously that will now fit in that little bit better. So you can glue them like that. That little bit of a noggin does help, and then I'll go down and make them all up, and then I'll show you where I go from there. Right, so there's our steps. So what we've done is, like I say, I've marked it out on the back at the angles I needed, drew the shape out, cut the steps themselves. There was at 1 inch wider, this one's 3/4. You'll see why when you put it on. We've literally cut our thingy in to pop it in, so we've done that like that. The next thing is to cut the actual handrails, because you would go that with a pair of handrails on it. So you cut the noggins to fit them, shove them in, keep it reasonably tight, everything. I tend not to glue them in the actual steps to it while Pat's painted it, because it does make it a lot simpler. So what I'll do now is mark these so I know what height I need them at. I thought I'd done one, there we are. So I'll mark them like that, so that when I cut this off at the height I need here, and then the bottom one, I can put the bottom one on and then draw a nice angle to get the banister rail on. Right, so what I've done now is I've glued the back ones on, and I've glued some front ones on, making sure they're parallel. Everything on the steps, these angles, is 45 degrees. Now I will put that down so you can see that bit. So what I've done is I've measured what I thought was a nice height for somebody to stand and hold the rail, cut that at 45, and to get that one, I do it a little simpler method, is just hold it onto there, make sure it's running parallel with that one, and then just draw your line on there and then cut it off. So then just pop it on there, cut the edge, cut it down, and then I've got the two pieces what go in there like that, and all I've got to do now is just put the little thin strips on. Right, so what I've done is now I've just glued a couple of little railings on the top with super glue, cut them off at the back so they're nice and level. It's now a case of keeping everything nice and tidy, pop them back into position, and that's our steps to lead up to the cabin itself. We've got the door painted. I can pop the door in to show you what that'll look like. It's got all its detail on now, so we're just going to pop that in there so you can see that roughly. And there we are, that's that part done. So what I do now is, obviously Pat will tidy it all up and paint it. I think we just paint them brown. I don't think there needs to be anything other than brown. And then you can go from there, and we'll carry on with the barge boards on the roof. Right, we've got one on, already glued on, and I've tried to get that as vertical as possible. When you put the next one up, you've got to, if it's slightly out, you trim it so you've got it flush. Now if I just show you with this, like that, if you put that one on, there's the smallest of gap. I'm being quite lucky today by doing this, because normally it takes a little couple of goes. But the answer is, you know, if you've got one what's a gap, you adjust it till you get it square with here, and then just trim off that slightest bit to get it perfect, or as near as you possibly can. The next stage obviously is to glue it on. So we just glue on that surface, and the same on that one, and then just pop that back in to there, keeping them as flush as you possibly can and keeping them in line with the roof as near as you possibly. Just feel your tiles at the back, you know what I mean, so it's running level. Wipe off that little bit of surplus, a little bit of a sand, take any glue off. Right, so that's our roof put back in place. Obviously now you can see where we're overlapping. So what I do is I mark to the bottom of the gutter, and the same on this side, like that, and then draw it straight across, like so. So all I've done is just put 2 light lines in, just so we can see where we're going to cut that, and then take it back out again. You see that there? And then we're just going to carefully cut that bit off. And the same with that one. That's it. I'll just tidy that bit up because I don't like my pencil round. And if I bring this back, you see alright? Drop that back in. Get it to where it goes in at the front. So not in it at the back. That's it. And that's the barge boards in place. So what we'll do then is we'll paint these green. We might give the windows a coat of spray, white spray. We've stuck the steps on. And Pat's done a little bit more inside with the fireplace and things. We've started making some levers for the points and what have you. Right, so we've got it all on there. So the next, just putting the other barge board on, painting the windows. We've stuck the drain pipes on. So it's 5 millimetre square, and then we just put little blocks at the back, and then Pat just wraps it round with milli putty to make the clamp that would clamp it on. Oh. Right, just going to cut the windows out, show you how we do the windows. We use, try to do it with one. We use ordinary perspex from our local model builders, model shop. It's about 30 thou, same as plastic card, maybe a touch thinner, but it doesn't really matter how thick it is or thin it is. It's whatever suits you. I measure the windows. I allow 1/8 all the way around, so it's 1/8 big. So if I cut that, that was 3 1/4, so it's 3 1/2. I found this the easy way. I mean, you can actually do it in one piece, but you wouldn't get your windows in then. You wouldn't get them flat. So to me, doing them separately, sticking them on, I think it's the easiest way right from the very off. Now this has a film on it on both sides. So what I've done is cut that so it's just slightly big all the way around, like that. You can, I don't know if you can see that through there, but I'll peel this side off and get out of it. That's it. So that's that side off, and the same with the other side. There's one on both sides on these. So here's my piece of Perspex. Now what I do is, very staticky, is very carefully glue this. I don't over glue it, because at the end of the day, the more glue you put on, the more it's going to seep everywhere. So very carefully go all the way around. I'm not bothered about the centre bit thingy, and if I think I've got the slightest too much, I will just dab it off. You don't need tons of super glue to stick anything. And then lay it down, dip your fingers, make sure they're all nice and dry, drop it on so it's overlapping all the way around, and then just press it on, turn it over and press it down. Now I don't tend to spray these, because I think if you spray you're encouraging it to spread, because that's what the activator will do. It'll just make it seep everywhere. Give it a couple of seconds and it sticks to it. Then what I do, take that one out because I don't need that one in. For me to stick this in, I check, make sure it goes in, make sure it's not too tight. Then once it's in, I can feel it all the way around. I can look on the inside, making sure it's right in. It's a little bit tight at the bottom, so just make sure you get it all the way. It's nice and flat, ignore the other ones, on the inside. So you can see it's all the way around flat. So now I can get it in, so I take it back out again. And then I glue on the inside of this plastic. This way, the chances of getting glue everywhere is limited. You're not going to do it. It's not going to go everywhere. So it's a matter of making sure you get it right in. Push it all the way in, everywhere. Nice and flat. And that's our first window in. And that, it's as simple as that. Save them bits. You never know if you might need a piece later in a smaller window for another building. Not too expensive. I think this is about £1.20 for a full sheet. A full sheet will easily do this building with a bit spare. So you can get quite a bit out of it. Next one is to check it. Make sure you're in there. Have a look on the inside. That's just a little bit tighter on that one. Remember, you already took a bit of space inside, so you don't want it overlapping each other. So just trim a little bit off. That's the side what's a bit tighter, so you keep that one a little bit nearer to the edge, so when it goes in it fits a bit better with the other one. Again, sparingly. Have a look at it. See if you can see any puddles. Takes 2 seconds to dab it off. Glass. Remember, in the side you're going to keep it narrow, which is that one. So go like that. That like that. Flip it on its back. And that looks pretty good to me. Press it down. Only takes a few seconds to stick. Pop it back in. Make sure it's all nice and neat inside, which it is. I can feel it's not overlapping on this glass. So I'll take it back out. Around the edges. Don't worry if you're not 100% square when you stick it on. It's more important you don't move it about when you're doing it, and get your fingers in the glue. And then stick it in. And there again, that's another one. So what you've done there is made that level on that side. And then you do the same again. You glue it around the top, down that side, and down this side. Now you could put a little bit on the frame edge, just to give you that little bit of bonding on there when you pop it in. And that one, again, try and keep your fingers out of it. Never easy. And that one goes in like so. Make sure you're well in that corner. The plastic acts like a backstop. And there we are, that's that one in. And the same with the other corner, you would just trim that side off just to make sure it goes in. So I'll now carry on and just finish the rest. Right, and that is it. I think we've done more or less as much as we would do, what we want to do for it. Obviously we've got the steps in, the doors in, the glass in. All this is now stuck in, so it's all waterproof inside. Chimney, drain pipes, gutters. All it needs now is the interior doing, which we shall do a bit. And there is a couple of little things I can show you what I've made and how to, what I think might be handy for you. I think it is a good little signal box. It's simple, it's nice and easy. I think most people, give it a couple of weeks or whatever, just take your time, would be able to build it. I don't think it's anything difficult. The amount of Foamex you'd need is minuscule. A couple of square foot of each and some perspex, and that's all we've used. We've tried not to use anything other than 3mm whiteboard and 5mm whiteboard. So we've not, the only other thing we've added to is the clear perspex, which you can get from most model shops. Get it as thin as you can. You don't want it massively thick. You're not putting structures in. And the white plasticard, which you use little bits of. I can't remember what we even use the white plasticard for, but there is bits we use here and there of the plasticard. Yeah, the roof, there we are. I just couldn't remember what we'd used it for, but that's 30 thou plasticard is that. And a sheet, probably 2 sheets of that, they're about 12b9, what you can buy from our local model shop. Again, just an ordinary model shop should be able to supply you it. And I think it's a good project. I think, and the other thing Pat's showing me is milli putty. We use milli putty for these bits, like this, and the chimney tops. and round the edges just to add a bit of difference.
The doorknob.
And the doorknob. There's endless things you can do with this building. I mean, that to me is just standard. You could add to it, you could put little lean-tos on, you could put porches on, you could put brick staircase in. You can put whatever you want to it. But to me, that's pretty good. So I hope you've liked it. If you have liked it, let us know that it's thinking. And obviously, if there's anything you want us to try and have a go at building, or you've seen something you fancy having a go, and we can have a go at it for you and show you how we would go about it, then we'll try. Our next project, we've got a little one what we did on our, on our garden railway, is some water cranes. Now it's really simple to do. We'll put together some bits for it so you can see how we made them, and that's easy to do. It's using plastic balls and things like that, but it makes a lovely water crane. The drawings for this I haven't completed yet, because obviously I've never built something that I've worked from drawings, especially my own, so what I've had to do is build it at the same time as drawing it. There should be enough in it there till you get started and build it, and watching the videos at the same time, I'm sure you could do it. So we're just going to make a quick chimney. I mean, you can buy them, so it is easy just for me as an engineer just to make my own. So I'm using this is a piece of polypropylene rather than nylon. Nylon doesn't cut so well. You've got to be a bit more, working with that. It goes everywhere, locks up. This one's not is easier to use. This is the smallest size I can buy, so I can take big cuts off it. As you see, it wraps itself around everything. But once you come back, it comes off. I'll make a reasonably tall one, and then just take a little finishing cut in there. The trouble with using this, it is a nightmare on a lathe. It does work, it does me a job what I need to do. Once you've got all that off, it's a quick tidy up with a file and that bit. And then take it back in again, just leave a bit so we can cut a bit off. Nice and neat. Like I say, is a bit of a band with anything. What's like that, and then what I do then is, so we're just going to part this off now. I ain't too bothered again. Like I say, it makes more mess than out else. That's our first part of the chimney. And like I say, I'm making it out of polypropylene. Pretty good hard surface. Last for years outside. So now it's a matter of turning it round, popping the packing the choke. Whip this across. Roughly where you want to be on there. Take it about out again. That's it. Bit of a tidy up. Set the front off. I think we'll leave it a bit longer at the top. And now get a drill. Anything which will go in there. Yeah, that's near enough. It's a bit thin, but it's a chimney. Like I say, I make hundreds of these, so I keep it as simple as I can. The last thing I need to be doing is thingy. So we'll drill that in so far. Take it out. Right, we don't drill all the way through with a big drill, we just put a smaller one in again. That'll do me fine. Yeah, we generally save this type of thing for proper engineering, for building engines, but it does work for this. And then we take a smaller hole through, and go right through with it. So we're taking that off, take that out. Move that forward a little bit. And as you can see, just round the corners off a little bit. Give it a little bit of a tidy up with a with an emery paper. Pattern reminds me not to say thingy all the time, but I'm not a instructor on out like this. I'll just get my knife, 2 seconds. And all I'm doing now is just literally trimming any surplus off. That's got cut. And that'll do us for our chimney.
Okay, I was saying earlier about a chimney alternative. Hopefully that's in focus. But this is just a pipe end you get from a plumber's yard or shop. And what you do is you get a bag of them. I think there's about 50 in the bag. I know it's quite a lot, and it's very inexpensive. And if Steve hasn't got time to make any chimneys or whatever, I have used these before and they work very, very well. There's a little chip out there, but I don't really bother filling it in, but they do look quite good painted in terracotta and glued on. But I tend to, when I do my chimneys, I'll show you there, what I tend to do is I will put milliputty, obviously level that off, put milliputty around it, so that also helps it stay. So anyway, you'll see that later, but we won't be using this one because we'll be using the one Steve's made on the lathe.